Just reporting the news, just telling you what's out there. So before we get there, guys, I want to remind everybody, we are fully demonetized on the YouTube platform for 7+ months. Obviously, if you are on Rockfin, I really appreciate you. That is one way we are doing, especially if you are a premium subscriber. But I'm glad for all the free followers over here and checking it out. If you can, $5, $10, $15, big donors. You mean the world to me. This is how we're doing it, and we're doing it big. Guys, this platform, Rockfin, it is empowering me through what? Free speech. It is not enslaving me through the restrictions and censorship of information like the big tech platform. So please support them. If you haven't seen the documentary films, Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are all free right here, right now in the playlist section over at YouTube. And I'm sure you hardcores are already subscribed, but make sure to check me out daily there for even more content. And right now there's the Caged Aggression pay-per-view link, and you could actually pick me to support that now, which is awesome. So $35, you get both nights, 10 fights on each. I interviewed Zach Otto last night, UFC veteran. He was 4-4 in his last 8 fights with the UFC. He's headlining the event. His opponent was rocking this Tool shirt, had a good conversation. So he was a big Deftones fan. This is what the thing is. And Phil can attest to this if he's still in the comment section. Life has to be worth living. I know there are certain people out there that think if you're into this information, you live a certain type of lifestyle. Well, let me tell you, I want all the regular good stuff in life too. I like going to concerts. Okay. I like being social. I like having a drink at a bar. Okay. I don't like being told what to do. I like to have, control over my body and my family's well-being. And again, not be told what to do, Mr. Fauci. So this is important to me. If you are in the area of the Quad Cities and you can make it, please come down and support. Yes, I understand there's not going to be food or drink, which is ridiculous, right? I think they're going to be handing out water or doing something like that for everybody. But you're fighting back against the system. And then if you can't, the pay-per-view, $35 for 20 fights over 2 nights. How can you beat that? Especially, you're supporting a small promotion, a small business. So speaking of that and the not so new normal, in my opinion, the new fascism. Wait, what happened here? Did I go to the wrong thing? Oh, I did. There we go. Rand Paul, massive explosion of COVID-19 positive individuals strongly suggest that mandates and lockdowns aren't working. Of course they weren't going to work. You know how many asymptomatic people there were in the very beginning? We made that very clear, okay? That we were never for the lockdowns, that there were so many asymptomatic within the population that there was no way that you could ever stop the spread of this virus at all. Period. All right? And we also talked about the fact that since there are so many asymptomatic people and most people are not getting tested since, they don't have to because they're not sick, right? The death rate would be much lower. And over time, it decreased and decreased and decreased. And remember, the last numbers by the World Health Organization is 99.4% survive. It's got a 0.6 death rate. But even they admitted, and this is months ago now, that was probably, even lower. And remember, Trump in the last press conference talking about it said, those under 50, you have a 99.98% survival rate. I didn't see any fact checkers contesting that information after that Operation Warp Speed press conference that we went over. Perhaps I'm wrong. I'm just quoting what's out there, guys. Now, I'm a big fan of Rand Paul. The other big trend is that Pfizer and BioNTech are going to the FDA for emergency approval. Now, I'm not taking a vaccine, whether or not they mandate them or not. I think that Rand Paul, is trying to play that same hand that the president did, taking it out of the hands of these lockdown situations. But it doesn't matter. I mean, Governor Newsom's like, you know what, California, how about a big fuck you? The whole state of California. Guys, California's massive. California's massive. Massive. And he wants to put them under curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Curfews? I mean, he looks like Gavin Rosdale in Constantine, right? That he did, wasn't he like the devil or the devil's henchman in Constantine with Keanu Reeves back in the day? That's the guy that's telling you to do this? The guy that totally, I mean, the other thing is they don't believe it. You know they don't believe it. Gavin Newsom's sitting there with his elitist friends at dinner in a picture. They're all sitting next to each other. Nobody's worried. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's nice and clean, huh? They're nice. They're the clean people. Meanwhile, now when I go to the convenience store, right, I'm still not wearing a mask, motherfuckers. And again, couldn't get away with that in New York. I mean, not only would I be shamed, I'd be screamed out of there. Like, the workers still don't want to wear them, and the people who are now, like, wearing them, like, for the first time at the Quick Star. And props to you people at Quick Star. You keep up your great work. I love you. You're better than a gas station. I mean, it's like, I get produce there. I got a great, and it was ribeye last night that I made. Fantastic. Okay? So, anyway, now they got the hand sanitizer there. Here's the thing, guys. And maybe this is just me. I wash myself sometimes 2 times a day, depending. I take a shower. I brush my teeth, obviously, morning and night, right? I use soap. Shampoo, you betcha. Okay? What I haven't done is hand sanitizer once. I don't want to squirt, and now they got the sanitizer thing there. And today I saw more people with masks in there than I had ever seen. And then what really bothered me is the other woman that wasn't wearing a mask in there. And there was probably 10, 15 people. There's another guy in there not wearing one, but we were definitely the minority today. When she was in line, she started covering her face with her thing. I'm like, listen, guys, I pretty much stood like nose to nose with a bunch of fighters yesterday. They're asking me whether they got to wear their mask. I'm like, no. In fact, the only time I was told to wear a mask while I was over at the River Center doing those interviews was when I wasn't even near anybody other than the guy that I'm working with, right? And he's wearing his, and I got mine around my neck. When I wear mine, my whole face sweats. I start pouring. Phil, you can attest to this. I'm a sweaty dude when I'm moving. And now when I'm breathing hot and heavy all over me, I am just pouring. This dude from 20 feet away, I think it's the same dude that, wanted this event to be canceled so badly, probably about 120 pounds overweight, waddling away on the other side with this, "Could you please put your mask on? Could you pull it up?" 20 feet away from you going up the stairs, you're walking into your office. Do I scare you that much? Is that where we're at? So they've suppressed voices like Scott Atlas, who literally if this administration ends, which, who knows where it's going. I'm not making predictions. That's not what I'm here for. They're not going to even have the marginalized voice they do. Rand Paul, who's already been completely demonized, is going to continue to be demonized. All right? Period. That's it. So the next thing I want to take everybody into, okay, is Edward Norton in this thread, the grift thread, where, he really wanted to get in there. So I'm no political pundit, but I grew up with a dad who was a federal prosecutor, and he taught me a lot. And I've also sat a fair amount of poker with serious players, and I'll say this: I do not think Trump is trying to make his base happy or laying the groundwork for his own network. Okay? And basically, this is a warning, okay, to other people. And this feeds into the Chaos 2020 scenario that this is being promoted. I just want to say that. In fact, the second thread starts with, or that chaos is what he loves. The core of it is that he knows he's in deep, multidimensional legal jeopardy, and this defines his every action. We're seeing a tactical delay of his transition to buy time for cover-up and evidence suppression, which I totally disagree with. Above all, a desperate endgame, which is to create enough chaos. Man, that term chaos is coming up again. It's weird how I've been talking about that for months. Okay? And I'm not agreeing with this. I'm just showing you what's being promoted. Okay? Chaos and anxiety about peaceful transition of power and the fear of irreparable damage to the system. See, it's already a foregone conclusion that Trump needs to give over power, even if somehow what his lawyers shows he legally won. You see what's happening here? And again, I'm not weighing in on whether he did or not. I'm saying Chaos 2020 is here. That he can cut a Nixon-style deal in exchange for finally conceding, but he doesn't have the cards. His bluff after the flop has been called in court. His turn card bluff will be an escalation, and his river card bluff could get really ugly. But hey, have to be called. We cannot let this mobster bully the USA into a deal to save his ass by threatening democracy. That is called a play. But he's got junk in his hand, so call him. Basically, all these people like that are ultra liberal think that he's not only lost the election, but afterwards they're putting him in prison. Now, I'm not saying they won't try. I mean, can you imagine that? We've had so many outward war criminals in this country. So many outward war criminals in this country. I mean, you know, the idiot boy Bush, love him or hate him, his entire administration underneath him, okay? Whether you think he was an unwitting pawn or not, and I think there's a lot there. You know, I think he just wanted to be the president of baseball, and he got shoved in, okay? Cheney, monster. Rumsfeld, monster. Rove, monster. Wolfowitz, monster. When they created Homeland Security, okay? Chertoff, monster. I mean, the monster mash. Now, make no mistake about it. Those people have been promoted. A lot of them are just like basically political pundits for the media military industrial complex now. People love Karl Rove. Like, what upside down do I live in? Oh, so let's continue, okay? I will allow that he is also a whiny, sulky, petulant, grinchy, vindictive, little 10-ply, super soft bitch. Isn't that bullying? Is that cyberbullying, Jack? Geez, I don't know. Did he use the right pronouns? I said bitch, female. I mean, is that insulting to dogs, Jack? I don't know what's going on. I know that we're restricting words more and more these days. Who no doubt is just throwing a wicked pout fest and trying to give a tiny hand middle finger to the whole country for pure spite. See, this is another thing. The whole country, you know, he got 10 plus more million votes than he did last time if you don't believe that any of them got overturned with this software, which is actually a possibility. Again, we're not saying it happened, but here's the thing. You can't have specials like John Oliver did on Dominion systems a year plus earlier showing how easily they're corrupted, and then a year plus later, because your guy wins, say they could never be corruptible. Like, that doesn't work for me. You know, I'm not on an Orwellian hamster of fucking lies. It's not that hard. And you notice all of these scenarios that are being put out none of them involve that there is evidence that exists. And remember, the talking point isn't voter fraud and hasn't been for some time. What's the talking point? Widespread voter fraud. Widespread voter fraud. I mean, again, talk about semantics. You could just, I mean, that's word salad to me. Widespread voter fraud. That can expand and expand and expand as big as you could, unless it was every vote. Oh, let's see. Without a single thought for the dead and dying. Oh, man, here we go with the dead and dying again. And good. I mean, listen, people die every day. It sucks. It's one of the worst parts about life. You know, even yesterday I was reflecting on a couple people that I'd lost and how hard it is to really go to those type of things, funerals. And, you know, how none of us are getting out alive, by the way. So, yeah, Edward got us there, except for, you know, a single thought for the dead and dying. It's just ridiculous to me. We all think about the dead and dying because it happens every day. But his contemptible, treasonous, seditious assault on the stability of our political compact isn't about 2024, personal enrichment, or anything else other than trying to use chaos and threat to the foundation of the system as leverage to trade a safe exit. Call his bluff. And I like Eddie Norton. You know, he's fun. He's fun. Everybody loves the Fight Club, right? Everybody points to American History X. There's a slew of other, characters and films over the years that he's done. I think Primal Fear is another one with Richard, what's his last name? Richard Gere. I gotta love those names. Let's wrap it up with them. Faith in the strength of our sacred institution and founding principles is severely stretched, but they will hold. Will they? I mean, listen to me. These things have been broken for years. We've been in a national security state of some sort post-World War II outwardly. We have an executive branch that's completely unaccountable to the judicial, right? Now, forget about the legislative. Well, and I'm not talking about, Trump and even his inner cabinet. I'm talking about the actual deep state alphabet agencies that have outsourced intelligence to private groups and have a black budget we never get to see, are completely underground, are allowed to break the law on a moment-by-moment basis. We lied, we cheated, we stole Mike Pompeo. Remember that? Remember that, guys? We're gonna be going over some Pompeo today. Don't worry. Okay. So let's finish. He's leaving gracefully and in infamy. But if we trade for it, give him some brokered settlement, we'll be vulnerable to his return. We can't flinch. Are you really worried about a 78-year-old man if you do get him out of office right now, coming back and being your boogeyman? Man, it's just kind of diluted.